Good afternoon, everybody. Rebecca here with the Lebanon Senior Center again, bringing you another cooking demo. Today, we are doing something just slightly different. We are still celebrating Heart Health Month with food, but instead of doing a full meal, I thought we'd do more of a snack. It could be a side dish as well, if you wanted to use it that way. But we are going to be just pretty much showcasing a vegetable. I know sometimes I just want a quick snack or a quick something, um, which can be hard when you're trying to eat healthy because there's a lot of convenience foods that make a quick grab, a quick bite very easy and convenient. But a lot of times those convenience foods aren't very good for us, right? You know, those candy bars, even some of those granola bars and like smoothies in a bottle. Sometimes things are packaged like they're good for us, but when you look at sodium levels or sugar levels or different ingredients in them, you come to find out, oh, maybe this isn't something I should be eating. Quick snack ideas. If you are trying to live a healthier diet, if you can manage it, nuts are a great source. Almonds, walnuts, those types of nuts. Of course, no salt or maybe just lightly salted can be a good option. Dried fruit, get some extra, little carb boost for some of the sugars, but certainly keep down on some of the processed refined sugars. And also, you get some of those nutrients, some of those vitamins and minerals and things that you find in your fresh fruits and vegetables. You also get in those dried fruits. There's just a couple of snack ideas. Of course, a fresh fruit tray or a fresh vegetable tray with a dip that's not high in salt or calories can be a good option. And since we're playing with this today, if you've got a hankering for potato chips, sometimes you just want kind of that salty goodness, you want a little bit of texture. And so there's a lot of veggie chips on the market, and this is kind of a play on those. I'm not one so much for potato chips, but one of the things I really like is JoJo's. So, fried potatoes. They're so good and so bad for me. So I'm trying to rock this squash. Yes, squash, not potato. In a similar fashion to a JoJo. It's not going to be the same thing. I'm not delusional, but it gives me some of that same texture. It gives me a little salty goodness, a little bit of the breadings. So maybe it'll trick my mind just enough, but give me a healthier option. So what are we doing today? You're like, what is that weird thing in front of you? This is a yellow squash, a summer squash, and you can also do this with zucchini. In fact, the recipe states zucchini. I actually happened to eat mine the other night in a stir fry, so I didn't have one of those, but I did have a yellow squash on hand, and they're very similar. So we're doing a cheesy zucchini, or we're calling it a squash chip. Yep, a squash chip. Don't squash your chips, then you end up with chip dust. We are going to turn these humble little squash slices into something similar to a chip or a JoJo. So what I did is I went ahead and I sliced up a small zucchini. Again, this is something you can do easily for one person. If you're cooking just for yourself or yourself and another person, just get a smaller squash. You don't need one of those jumbo summer, ones that your neighbor carries in or maybe you have that looks like a log. This one was about this big and about that round. Pretty easy to find in the market. I already cut up, you can see the squash. Half of it I already prepared and put in the oven, so hopefully it gets done and I'll be able to show you what the product looks like. The other half, though, I'm going to prepare for you now. So these slices are maybe about a ½ inch thick for the zucchini, and I'm just going to throw them all in this little bowl I have here. And we're just going to take a tablespoon, more or less, kind of a little drizzle of olive oil. You're really just coating the squash with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to wait to do that for just a second so that I don't goop up my hands. All right, put that over there. And on this plate, I've kind of already started, but we are going to put down, it's about 1/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. Since I did use some of it already, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle just a little bit more on there. So 1/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs and about an equal amount of Parmesan, grated Parmesan. You can use this stuff out of a can. I happen to have some of the shredded Parmesan left over. And we're going to be heart smart, just a little bit of salt and I really like pepper. So you can hanker on as much pepper as you like. Maybe you want a little more bite to your chip. Of course, you could do some add-ins here. You know, herbs are a great way to add extra flavor to things, especially if you're trying to cut down salt. So you could certainly do some Italian seasoning in here, you know, some oregano, some parsley, some basil, whatever herb combination you like that you think might go well with squash. Just to, you know, put some different flavors in your mouth. You know, I guess we do make different flavors of potato chips, right? It's like a whole aisle of potato chips now. It's kind of like there's a cereal aisle and there's a potato chip aisle, you know, horrible, these really bad carbohydrates for you aisles. All right. Okay, just kind of mixed it together with my fingers. So we're just kind of making a little dredge, a little something we're going to run these zucchini through. I'm going to reach back here for my cooking sheet. My cooking sheet, I did put a little parchment paper down on just to help it, you know, not stick, right? It's not a lot of fun when things stick. So I'm going to toss my fingers in here with these squash and just kind of swirl them around. I don't know if you get the swirling action, flipping around, just trying to make sure every side is coated with some of that olive oil. All right, so now I'm going to take it and we're just going to toss our wedges in this breadcrumb mixture, trying to get all the way around. I shake some of it off. If you feel like it needs a few extra pieces of cheese, you know, feel free to toss a couple more on there. And I'm just setting them apart. I am trying to make sure there's enough circulation around the chips just to make sure that they aren't going to touch, bake into each other. That way they get some nice even cooking happening. Toss them, toss them. I will admit, when I was a kid, I used to watch my parents eating squash, and I thought it was the most disgusting thing. Oh my gosh, I did not like squash when I was younger. Not until the last couple of years, probably, that I really started liking squash. So sometimes give yourself a chance. Try a vegetable different ways, cook it differently, give it a chance at different stages of your life. Your taste buds do change as you get older. Sometimes with different illnesses, you can have changes to your taste buds. So it's okay to try things differently. So definitely give this a shot. All right, I'm going to be sticking this in the oven, and I'll be right back to show you the results. All righty, so I popped the first batch out of the oven. And slide them up here a little bit. Whoop. Try to lift them when they slide. So that's kind of what they look like. I set them back down kind of hot. We did cook them at 450 degrees for about 20 minutes. Oh, maybe I get a spatula and I can lift one up to you. That'd be a smart thing to do. Instead of trying to use my fingers, as they are still really warm coming out of that 450 degree oven. All right. Try to hold my hand steady. That's what they look like. Nice and golden brown. They smell really good too. So 450 degrees for about 20 minutes. And you can have some of these cheesy zucchini or, you know, squash bites, also known as chips. So when you are ready to try something new, have a little savory snack or a little savory side dish that's not quite fried, just baked in the oven, you can try these little chips. And squash and zucchini are a great source of vitamins for you, some extra hydration from the moisture that is inside of them. And they are full of potassium and folate and fiber, which are great at lowering cholesterol and helping with a variety of conditions that it can affect your heart. So definitely do some swap outs, do some exploration in your kitchen. Try to think of new ways to get flavors you've liked in the past, but maybe in formats that aren't so good for you, being frying them or just using a tremendous amount of salt, and switch it up. Try cooking it a different way and maybe using some more herbs instead of that salt in your diet. Be good to your heart because we love you. You guys have a great afternoon from the Lebanon Senior Center.